If you've ever felt that you're not just your body, that you are something far greater than that, then this video could be the last wake-up call of your life. Because what I'm about to tell you today is something people only truly understand once they reach that final stage of the God state, where the quantum field itself starts speaking through them. And if you leave this video halfway through, whatever is pulling you toward it right now might never come back again. Let's begin. Part 1. The moment the body becomes God. Did you know the human body can one day reach such a high vibration that it becomes a living mirror of the quantum field itself? This isn't just theory. This is the first doorway of the God state. Quantum physics tells us that everything, every particle, every atom, only becomes reality once it's observed, which means the observer is part of the creation itself. When a person expands their consciousness to the point where they feel no difference between their self and the universe, they stop being just a person. They become a living frequency. This might sound spiritual, but it has a very practical effect too. When the line between observer and observed starts dissolving, a person's whole reaction system starts to shift. Things that once felt like an attack start to feel like mere information. People who once seemed like enemies start to reveal the same frequency that exists within you. This is why the world's greatest mystics, quantum thinkers, and deep meditators all point to the same moment. The moment separation ends. It's not usually a single-day event, but its first flash, its first glimpse, often comes when a person is completely alone, silent and free of distraction, looking inward. This is the moment where the journey of the God state begins. But this is only the beginning. The real twist is coming next. Part 2. When your thoughts start writing. Reality itself. Imagine if just by thinking, things started shifting. No more coincidences. Everything starting to feel designed. This is the second stage of the God state. And it's not as simple as it sounds. When a person learns to observe their thoughts, instead of reacting to them and living through them, their neural patterns literally begin to shift. In the language of quantum physics, this is called collapsing the wave function, choosing one specific reality out of infinite possibilities. This is where people often stop, because their ego gets scared. Because when you feel this much control, your old identity, built on trauma, fear, and limitation, starts to die. There's another strange thing about this stage. The more you simply observe your thoughts without judging them, the more you start noticing the gaps between each thought. These gaps are the silence from which true creation happens. Most people spend their entire lives in the noise of their thoughts, never realizing there's a deeper, silent awareness behind them. Once this awareness reveals itself for the first time, the whole color of the world changes for a person. Everyday things, morning tea, a loved one's smile, a gust of wind, all start to feel new, as if being experienced for the first time. And before this death, a warning sign appears that every spiritual seeker feels, but very few recognize. What is that sign? We'll reveal it in Part 3. Part 3. The death of ego, the most dangerous turn of the God state. This is the stage where 90% of people abandon their spiritual journey because they feel like they're going crazy. But in reality, this is the most powerful transformation a human being can go through. When consciousness starts letting go of its old identity, its name, its past, its whole structure of who am I, the body and mind feel a strange emptiness, a void. People often mistake this for depression, but it's actually a spiritual dissolution. From the lens of the quantum field, this is exactly like a particle leaving its fixed position and returning to a wave state, breaking apart only to reform into something new. At this stage, the body experiences unusual sensations, sometimes a lightness, sometimes tightness, sometimes a feeling like I am disappearing. All of this is normal, but only if you don't resist it. This is why many people at this stage seek help from doctors, therapists, or family, because they feel something is wrong. But in reality, the body is simply shedding an old, rigid identity. Just like a snake shedding its old skin. This process may feel painful, but it's constructive, not destructive. Throughout mystical history, this stage has been called by many names: the dark night of the soul, spiritual crisis, or ego death. In every tradition, whether Sufi, Buddhist, or modern consciousness research, all describe this stage as a necessary passage, not a problem. Those who understand it and move through it emerge on the other side as an entirely new person. But those who make it through this stage undergo a transformation that science still can't fully explain. And that transformation is what opens the true door to the God state. Let's go deeper into that now. Part 4. When the body itself becomes an instrument of the quantum field. This stage might sound like something out of science fiction, but mystics, quantum scientists, and deep meditators across the world all describe it the same way. And after this stage, life is never the same again. When the ego dissolves and consciousness lets go of the illusion of separateness, the body begins processing energy in a whole new way. The heart's electromagnetic field, already more powerful than any other organ in the body, starts syncing with the brain, creating such coherence that the person literally begins influencing the frequency of their surrounding environment. This is why people who reach this stage start experiencing so many synchronicities. The people they need start showing up in their lives on their own, and the opportunities they need start making their own path forward. Some call this manifestation, some call it flow state. But in reality, it's just one thing. When there's no separation left between observer and observed, the quantum field itself starts expressing through that person. That person doesn't just think anymore. They become a living channel of reality. There's another interesting thing about this stage. Decision-making becomes completely effortless. Where a person used to spend hours confused about which path to take, now they simply feel a deep, silent knowing, with no logic, no lists needed. This isn't intuition, it's a direct connection to the field, where the answer to every question already exists, only waiting to be heard. There are effects at the physical level too. Sleep quality improves, digestion becomes smoother, and even the immune system appears to strengthen. Because when the nervous system moves out of constant stress and into coherence, the body redirects its energy toward healing and repair instead of just survival. But there's still one final stage left. The stage where all of this becomes permanent, and there's no going back. And this is the stage people call the God state. Part 5. God state. When you yourself become the quantum field. Now we're arriving at the stage that has only ever been hinted at for centuries. Buddha called it nirvana. Mystics called it union with the divine. And today's quantum thinkers call it field coherence. They're all pointing to the same thing. The God state doesn't mean you gain some supernatural power. It means you recognize your true nature, that you were never just a body or a personality. You have always been that infinite quantum field that holds every possible reality within it. And now that field is experiencing itself through this body. Once a person reaches this stage, their reactions completely change. Small things that used to cause stress now feel like mere waves, coming and going. In place of fear comes a deep peace, because now there's no fear of loss. When you yourself are the field, nothing can ever be lost within the field. And most importantly, people who reach this stage become a source of frequency shift for others too. Simply being in their presence starts regulating other people's nervous systems, without saying a word, without doing anything. This is the silent power found within every great spiritual guide, every healer, and every person who feels different. But here's something important to understand. The God state isn't a destination you reach one day and stop. It's a continuous, deepening awareness. The more you observe your thoughts, your reactions, and the layers of your ego, the more that field expands within you. At this stage, people often notice something else too. Their need to prove anything disappears completely. There's no hunger for recognition, no hunger for approval. Because when you, yourself, are the field, any validation from outside loses its importance. You already feel complete. This is why every great spiritual teacher throughout history never carried an "I achieved this" attitude. Instead, they became even simpler, even quieter. Because real power doesn't live in noise, it lives in stillness. So the next question is, are you truly ready to let go of your old identity? Are you ready to go through the emptiness that comes before true transformation? But before we get to that practical path, there's another aspect very few people understand. Because the God state isn't just a feeling. It changes your body, your experience of time, and even the way you write your own destiny. Let's go deeper into that now. Part 6. When time starts losing its old shape. Have you ever felt that sometimes time passes so fast it feels like hours went by in seconds? And sometimes a single moment stretches on forever. At this stage of the God state, this stops being occasional. It becomes permanent. In physics, we know time isn't a fixed, straight line. It's relative to the observer. The more your consciousness settles into the present moment, the more time starts losing its linear shape. For people who reach this stage, memories of the past and worries about the future start losing their grip. They live neither in bygone moments nor in fear of moments to come. They exist only in now. And it's in this now that they find a peace that years of therapy, years of effort, couldn't provide. Another strange experience at this stage. Repetitive activities like walking, cooking, or simply breathing take on a meditative depth. A person feels as if they're doing something for the very first time, even if they've done it thousands of times before. This is the beginner's mind that Zen tradition has spoken of for thousands of years. Some people at this stage even lose their sense of age. They don't feel old nor young. Only a pure awareness remains, free of any label of time. But this is only the beginning. As the illusion of time starts breaking, another thing starts breaking too. The thing you thought was your destiny. And this revelation is so big that very few people are ready to go through it. Part 7. The illusion of destiny. When you become the writer of your own story, just imagine, what if everything you thought was fate was actually just an unconscious pattern you yourself kept repeating? This sounds simple to hear, but once you start living it, your entire life turns upside down. The deepest truth of the quantum field is that every possible reality, every version of your life, already exists within the field in a state of superposition. Your awareness, your focus, your emotional state. These are what decide which reality you collapse into your life. Once people understand this, they move out of a victim mentality and into a creator mentality. They stop asking, why is this happening to me? They start asking, what am I calling in from this field? This shift is so big that relationships, career, health, everything starts rearranging itself. Some people quit their jobs, some end old relationships. Not out of anger, but with a calm clarity, because they no longer want to continue patterns they created unconsciously. There's another essential aspect of this stage. When a person starts writing their own story, they also stop blaming. They don't blame their parents, their past, or anyone else, because they've come to understand that blame itself is an unconscious pattern that kept them powerless. Many people find this idea strange. If I'm creating everything myself, did I also create that hard time, that pain, that loss? The answer isn't that simple. But one thing is certain. The more you control your response, the less you remain a slave to circumstances. But after this stage, something happens that's rarely explained. When a person becomes this aligned with the field, something shifts within their body at a biological level. This is the real, final, deepest transformation. Part 8. The body's complete reformation, the final stage of the God state. This is the part I usually save for last, because it's the most misunderstood thing in the spiritual journey. But for those who understand it, their life is never the same again. When consciousness expands so deeply that it no longer sees itself as separate from the quantum field, the nervous system literally begins to recalibrate from scratch. Many people who've lived for years with anxiety, chronic stress, or emotional numbness feel a new lightness in their body upon reaching this stage, as if years of weight have lifted off. This isn't magic. It's simply that once the mind lets go of its old fear-based programming, the body also moves out of its fight or flight state into a new baseline, from where healing, clarity, and creativity flow naturally. Many people reaching this stage notice improvement even in old health issues. Chronic pain decreases, headache patterns change, hormonal balance improves. Science is only now beginning to explore this as mind-body coherence, but mystics have called it healing through presence for centuries. The most beautiful part of this stage is that a person no longer needs to achieve anything. They simply are, completely, without lacking anything. And within this state of simply being lies a power that no achievement, no money, no relationship could ever give. And this is what the true God state is, not some supernatural transformation, not an overnight miracle, but a person returning to their true, limitless form. The form that was always there, just buried beneath layers. Now that you've come this far, something must have shifted within you too. Maybe a small realization, maybe a question that never came up before. This is the moment where the real journey begins. If this video has stirred something within you, if you feel that you too are part of this field and not just a body, then like this video right now, share it with a friend who needs this truth, and subscribe to the channel with the bell icon turned on. Comment, "I am the field," if you're ready to begin this journey. And in the next video, we'll talk about the exact practical practices that will bring you closer to this God state, day by day.